Today we need to address this. So for you guys that have been watching for a while, you know that the seats that came in this car carried so many diseases that they just literally couldn't stick around. Like the rest of the interior, they were full of mold and honestly just completely unusable. And so, in the meantime, you've probably seen us sitting in these D&D seats, which unfortunately also had to go. These seats belong in my drift car, so this morning we pulled them out and we returned them to where they belong. In the previous video, you guys saw us dial in the exterior of this car. There was tons of damage on this thing when we found it, and while that's great, the interior is still kind of bunk. When I shift gears, I use the clutch, but I have this paddle shifter on the steering wheel staring me in the face. When I shift gears, I also slice my hand in half because the shifter is completely annihilated. And well, as of this morning, I'm sitting on the floor. In the spirit of the Abandoned Genesis, we went ahead and we picked up some Abandoned R-Spec Genesis Coupe seats. They're actually pretty comfy.
They're very comfortable.
I like them.
I'm a big boy and like they're very comfortable.
You fit in them better?
Yeah.
So the good news is these seats were very cheap because they were abandoned. The bad news is they need a little bit of love. So the scariest part of these seats by far is definitely this. I think this is oil. We picked these up from like a mechanic's shop and they were just laying around abandoned within the shop. I don't even know how long. He told us they were from a part out car, but to me, this looks like dirty beyond what would have been in a car. I think the truth is that these were left as like shop seats around the shop for a long ass time. You guys can see there's just all kinds of stains and yuck on them. This one is by far the dirtiest. This one is probably either the one they sat in the most, or this guy maybe was like a dirty worker. Like maybe he was a mechanic or a construction guy. And this is just natural dirt, because this one also has the least amount of like little sploogey sections like that. I think the black and red combo is gonna look absolutely killer inside of the red car. You guys know I love a challenge, and when I saw these posted, I had to send it and try it. Someone has to save things that are going to die, and I feel like these seats, just the fact that they were abandoned and they're like the right color combo, fit so well with what we're doing. So today we're gonna go ahead and see if we can't save these abandoned seats. We also have a couple extra goodies to put in the Genesis. To start today off, we're using this Concrobium carpet spot remover. This is the same product that we used on the carpet of the Genesis when we did the full interior detail, and we actually got some amazing results. Now obviously you might want to test this on a smaller area before you soak your seats in it, but we figured we couldn't make these any worse, so we went ahead and soaked them. These seats also do have sort of like a weird, almost like a under the stairs type of smell is how I would describe it.
The wet basement, if one
They
must.
do have a wet basement smell. And what's really nice about this spray is it smells delicious.
It's fantastic. Like
it actually smells
great. No,
so
I'm
worst
really
case, at least these will smell good when we're done with them.
100%.
And while we let the seats soak, I fired up this little spot cleaner that I have. I have been dying to try this inside of a car. It does an absolutely amazing job inside of my house, but I've been waiting for an opportunity like this where we can actually get some results side by side and see just how good this tiny little thing is. And by no means do I actually know what I'm doing, but in my head, the wetter I get these seats, the more dirt's gonna come out with the water. So we soaked it, scrubbed it, and I just started making passes with the cleaner. You can see the initial passes are actually disgusting. Like I said, I do think most of this is shop dirt and oil, but it's just coming out completely brown, which is honestly kind of pleasing to see. And to give a helping hand to that Concrobium spray, we have a mixture of hot water and just the Bissell pet stain remover inside of this unit. And together, they really did a good job. This is actually disgusting. It literally is like sucking poo out of these seats. What's weird is if you look up close to these, I don't even think the camera will see it, but the outside stitching is actually black. There's like a hexagon weave of black over the red. So you really have to work to get the red clean. I say we do them at least one more time.
Yep.
Maybe two more times.
Could be 5.
Once we get a clean wipe, then we're good. These seats were the first thing I have ever cleaned where they took so many passes to come clean. I think this is like a really good reminder that
You know, doing things 2-3 times is never a bad idea. I started using the stitching on the seats as sections so I could start at the top and work my way down so I didn't accidentally push any dirty water into sections I'd already done. And you can see here, even on the 5th pass over these seats, it's still coming up super dirty. So I actually hit this seat with 7 passes total. And I actually went so ham on these seats that I used an entire tank of the solution that we made.
It's super hard to tell how this is working. I think it looks great. This seat was the dirtiest seat, and you guys can see already, it does look pretty red. It's just hard to tell once it dries if there will be any dark spots or light spots. I mean, on camera it looks really good though, dude. And the camera is really what sees all the yucky spots. So I'm stoked. I hope this turns out really well. It is still extremely wet, so we're just gonna kind of like stack them here when we're done, let them dry. I'm gonna go ahead and try and get the Dookie Maximus out of this seat, and Mac's been over here.
So I've been over here just spraying the seats down, making them nice and wet. We're gonna use the big boy right here, kind of speed up the process, see if we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and see how they turn out, man.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Pass it. You read my mind.
Sir,
I want you to come check something out.
I just got started on the
I
bottom.
know, I saw that.
Dude, how'd you do this so fast?
The machine's a beast, dude.
Want to trade?
No.
Oh my god, it does look actually really good.
Yeah, like far away, I think on camera they look brown because they're wet and they're dark because of it.
100%.
But like in person, they look fantastic, especially if you compare to like that Yuki over there.
It's not, this is not good. Oh, once it focuses, oh, that is questionable.
This looks like somebody spilled egg on it.
Looks like
I might have to do a taste test.
no.
And while I got started with the base of my final seat, Mac went ahead and showed us what a clean wipe should look like, because we kind of got so excited near the end of every seat that we would just move on to the next one, and we never really showed you guys how clean the water was actually coming out of these seats. It was fantastic. So fantastic, in fact, that the tank that collects the dirty water made us a free iced coffee.
These look good, dude. This one's starting to dry already just being in the garage. You can see like a wet strip kind of around all the creases, around the sides. The red is popping. They look really nice. I'm actually really excited for this red inside of the Genesis. These seats are like a nice dark red. They're not super bright like the paint on this car, so they won't pop or look super aggressive. And we're gonna move on with some other things that we gotta do today, because thankfully, this wasn't the only problem that we're gonna address today. So this is the ISR Performance Genesis short shifter, dude. This is such a regular looking piece, yet it's a very crucial piece, because if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know that this transmission in the red car came out of my white drift car. And when it was in the white drift car, it had no interior. Because we were missing all of this, I found the shift knob to be very tall. So I went ahead and I actually cut right here, you guys can see this stock Genesis shifter linkage piece thing is a BMW clip style. So it just like the shift knob pops into it. Those are kind of terrible to work with. I had like an adapter piece. I went ahead and just cut it off so that it was technically like an actual short shifter in terms of height. But now that we have it in this car, when you go ahead and you put the trim piece on and you put the shifter on, it hits the trim piece. I don't know if the auto trim piece is a different size than the manual trim piece. And two, it's really low. I don't want to run a big, tall, doinky shift knob. And I kind of have no choice but to run one of those because it doesn't even stick out past the top of the trim piece. So for both of those reasons, we need to fix that today. So I'm really excited to throw this in. To go with it, we got some trim pieces. So this is the stock auto trim piece that we're hitting when it's in. And I got 2 pieces from one of you guys actually. So we'll actually be able to put all the rest of the hardware in the center console, which means the interior of this car by the end of today should be, hopefully, ideally dialed in. And we got some shift knobs, baby, but we'll get there.
While I was on my ride up the lift, I started a pretty pointless task of taking the steering wheel off because I just really hate looking at these shifter paddles. So I fumbled around for a minute. I was able to get the airbag out. Made my way to the ground, and while I started on this pointless task, Max started doing something useful. It looks like the easiest way to get to the shifter is to just pull the drive shaft out. Thankfully, this is a 2-piece drive shaft, so we can just drop it right here in the center and off of the back of the trans, and it just pulls right off. And for everybody that already noticed, yes, this exhaust is covered in mud. This thing got caked at a drift event one day when it was still on the white car, and the mud absolutely baked itself on there. It is hard to get off. It's just kind of hanging out there for now, you know?
Delicious. That thing's actually the ugliest thing I've ever seen, dude. So this one, I'm not entirely sure why it's so thick right here, but it gets this weight. This entire thing is like, it's a heavy ass weight. And it slides onto here somehow, and you bolt it in. So the weight gives you like smoother shifts, which is probably why people complain about Genesis shifting like a Slurpee box. Where it's different is where this pivot action happens. So the pivot happens here, and just this being a little bit longer means that up top you need less leverage. Is this making sense?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It makes sense to me at least.
Sorry, I changed the shot up, but if you go here, you need less movement up here to make this move more because this is longer. So the longer this is, the shorter the throw. So you guys can see, if you put them side by side, I think it said 30 to 50% shorter throws.
Something to keep in mind too is like, it doesn't look like a lot, but
oh, it's a lot.
It's a lot because like up top, right? So we're changing a 1/2 inch down low, but on an 8-inch, 6-inch pass.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
It's gonna be massive.
Well, it's like if you do like an alignment, when you go and spin the thing 1/2 turn, and you get out and your wheel's doing this.
Right?
It's the tiniest little thing makes a big movement. So, and we just freshly greased this too when we did the transmission swap.
I know, we made it so gross. So we are gonna have to re-grease the new one.
Okay, so let's just do that right now. We're just gonna do the old
Pop the back.
Yeah, the old finger in the grease.
Oh, don't get scratched. No, it's so pretty.
So when this was in the drift car, it was rubbing on the boot.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Oh, but now it's lower.
But now it's lower.
So now, does that mean it's gonna hit the drive shaft?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Oof.
So now we gotta figure out why was it rubbing on the boot there? And how did we get it to sit higher? Or does the transmission, should we drop this like a little bit?
And this is kind of a question that just doesn't have an answer. You can see right here when we push up on the center joint of the drive shafts that it is moving the entire shift linkage assembly. And we've already kind of concluded that an auto Genesis just doesn't want to be manual. So this is just kind of on us to see what we can make work and how we can fix this problem. There's not a very significant difference between the two, but what we can think is that maybe the manual brace sits a little bit lower, or the manual bushing is a little bit smaller, which will pitch the transmission at a little bit less of an angle. Because right now we have the 6-speed bolted to an automatic bushing and an automatic brace. We went ahead and we threw some big washers in between the center joint of the drive shafts. We played around with transmission height to see where we needed it to be, and so we just had to figure out a way to properly space this transmission from the bottom of the car. Thankfully, we haven't sold the automatic transmission that came out of this car, so we took the brace off of it, cut both ends off, and spaced it just over about a half an inch, which really isn't much. It's the proper material, it's the most solid thing we could come up with, and I'm actually really happy with it. It's not the best, but it is like exactly what I would have expected myself to do.
And the reason I'm okay with it is because if you look right here across like this is the lowest part on the car. And if you look down across the bottom of the car, it doesn't hang down low at all. It's still like, here's this, sway bar, doesn't even touch anything, keeps going, that hangs lower. So I'm cool with it. So that got us down enough to the point where I can get my finger in between here. We also put just like a thick washer. It's not that big, but it's a thick washer in between both of these to space everything down so that there's not new weird angles going on. And we should be good, dude. That took hours longer than it was supposed to, but Matt's gonna put the car down and we are gonna figure out this piece. So this is the one out of the car right now, but it looks like this ring around the outside is what puts pressure on it. The real question is gonna be, can we make this or this fit on this? I think I have a plan. This is the base piece from a manual one. This is the part that this boot is currently bolted to. It goes underneath. The issue with this fitting on this is that there's two little tabs right there on the bottom. Can you see those? Those two tiny tabs push this back down. It never wants to fully come up all the way through, but if you can get it close, it's pretty much just a little too big, so it wedges itself in. So, put a little bit of hole in here so that those little pins go in, it won't come out. And we'll be good. We just wedge it in place. Not my favorite thing in the world. I think there's gonna be a little too much red going on. But I'll keep my eyes out on whatever part outs or anything I can find. One of these dark gray manual trim pieces. I have 3 of them in front of me, and the only one that's dark gray is auto, so we're sticking with it until we find the proper one. Literally, it's just wedged in there. It's just, the boot's not even stapled to anything or anything. It's just jammed in. It'll work for now. It's not going anywhere. But before we get too excited, let's see if this actually fits. This shifter is short.
It's average sized.
It's got a great personality, I'm sure.
Sure of it.
I was gonna unbox this for you in the car, but I feel like it deserves the right lighting. Oh, dude. Look, I wish you guys could feel how heavy this is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but this thing is a Pro Likewise knob, so it is heavy. I've been running shift knobs from Likewise since like the dawn of me working on cars. They're absolutely awesome, and this is one of my favorite ones that they're running right now. This is the Daytona Pro. The Pro series are really heavy. There was once upon a time where you had to get like the thick boy shift knob if you wanted to get a heavy one, but now you can just go ahead, grab a Pro series. This one's in like the nice gunmetal-y color. It's not only really heavy, but it has like these nice little grips. It's like knurled, or whatever the word is for that. It's one of their simpler ones for sure, but it is absolutely beautiful. So I will leave a link down below for you guys to check out Likewise. They make absolutely amazing stuff. They also make these really cool shift boot retaining clip things. Pretty much, if you had like a leather boot that wasn't gonna explode when you popped this piece out, you could swap this into here. This actually clips into the bottom of all their shift knobs. You know what, let me give it a try. Worst case, I hoop this thing that I'm not even sold on anyways. This is, oh my God, dude, it's literally zip tied on. Good news!
And this is exactly why I love companies like Likewise. I just grabbed a pair of snips, snipped off the old zip tie, ditched the boring retaining clip that was already on there, pushed this one through the hole. It did require a little stretching because it's a little bit of a thicker piece. Fired on a new zip tie that Likewise supplied, and now,
dude, this is perfect. Pull it back through, and oh my God, this just made this so much better, dude. I might just keep this. All right, so this is 100% my favorite part about the Likewise shift knobs. You're also gonna really like this.
Okay.
I think I showed you this piece the other day when we were just inside hanging out.
Yeah.
Right? So right now I have the shift knob on, and the Likewise logo is facing like dead nuts to the passenger seat.
Correct.
So watch this. For anybody that gets this, ISR short shifter is a M10 by 1.25 thread. Now I'm gonna back this up just a bit. And now, normally this would be too loose, right? You'd have to tighten this back down to get it to the bottom. So now you put it here, tighten the Allen on the top.
It works like a set screw?
Yeah, dude, look at this. So now, oh, that's close.
Close.
That is very close. That's almost close enough that you could do one of these.
Yep.
Aha! Isn't that sick though? With the set screw?
I like it.
So you can change where it goes, and now it's dialed in. And I don't know if you saw the retaining clip.
I didn't.
But so you know how it would normally do this?
Yeah.
The likewise retaining clips click into the bottom of the shifters.
So they're all modular to their shift knobs?
Yeah. So now look, no matter where you do with this,
Oh, that's cool.
this stays attached.
That's cool.
I mean, the Genesis is the only thing that's really bad here with the inverted shift boot, but
I still kind of like it. It's very 2000s.
there's something special about it.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of water in here, get a goldfish or something for my car.
And just to make today perfect, while I was fumbling around with these shift knobs, Mac was using this Sonax leather spray and giving a final wipe down to the rest of the seats. And dude,
I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
We can save the abandoned Genesis seats.
Yes.
Good job, dude.
Thanks, dude.
Mac just came around while I was fiddling with the boot and everything, and he wiped up all these plastics because they ended up coming out pretty nice, so we obviously want to clean the rest of the seat up. So that's all good, dude. The seats look really, really good. Like, come on. Before, this seat before was absolutely trashed. And look at this thing now. There's a spot on this seat right here, which obviously has some sort of stain, probably oil. That's probably the kind of stain that we wouldn't be able to get out. And right there, there's an oil stain. But I mean, dude, first of all, like, I wouldn't do this before. Have you smelled them?
Have you done a taste test?
No, I haven't done a taste test. Do a smelly test, boy.
Smelly taste test?
You could do a double sniff lick if you want.
All right.
A scratch and sniff. That actually smells good.
It's not bad.
And like all the leather came out really nice too. Mac went around and hit this with like the leather cleaner. I mean, for cheap seats, they are what they are, but they came out really, really well.
For the price we paid, I mean, it is.
We're winning.
Yeah. I mean, comparatively to the seats that were in there.
Oh, those were unrescuable.
Yeah,
Those were disgusting.
those are so far gone and crusty. And then like, obviously the D&D seat, I don't fit in because I'm a big dude.
Yeah.
So all in all, I'm happy with them for multiple reasons.
and now we're here. And let's face it, we all get it. I put 2 bolts in the rear seat, folded that guy up, bottom portion just pops in, 4 bolts on each front seat, and we are on the road, baby. Oh yeah, I also put my steering wheel back. I pretty much just tried to remove the auto shifter things, and I shattered them, and now they jab me in the fingers. So I need a new steering wheel.
You guys thought we were gonna cut to B-roll, but we can't wait because I fit in a seat.
Mac has been hating on the Genesis since we got it, basically, because he doesn't fit in the D&D seats properly. I guess for anybody that has a Genesis, these seats feel like Genesis seats. For anybody that has like a BRZ or something, these seats are just a little bit more like thick. It's the first time I've driven this car where I feel like it's a car. The bucket seats you're like really low and really tight, and you feel like you're in a race car, you know? This feels comfortable, like this feels nice.
I'm happy with them.
I'm not a fan of everything being red, but the red here, and the red here, and the red on the jet tag, and they all just kind of, when you look down, you see all of them. Kind of with it, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not upset about it.
Now throw me a shift down, Daddy.
That's
Beautiful.
tight, dude.
And one thing that maybe people will notice, it doesn't hit anymore.
No, and we had the big doinker on before, like the really tall knob.
And it was
but
skinny.
But it's skinny. This one's fat. This one's very, very thick. And even the thickness, there's still a whole finger and this entire thing in between hitting. So, I mean, comparison to before and after, the throw is significantly shorter. There has never been a stage where we wanted to be in this car. This is the first time we've ever been, even though it's still a Dookie machine and whatever, this is the first time I've ever looked in it and gone,
That's fair.
I like this.
That's fair. That's
Right?
fair. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
nice. I'm still amazed at how well these seats came out, dude. Like you can see right here, actually, we missed a spot. That's how dark this all used to be.
Oh boy.
Like completely black. So they came out really well. There's a little bit of wear on the driver's seat, but it is what it is. Again, like they were cheap, and we're not in a position to spend a shitload of money on this car. We're just trying to resurrect it and make it super fun, and we spent money on some other stuff. This looks absolutely killer. It feels amazing to shift. The only thing we got to do now is we lost a couple trim pieces along the way. I haven't even seen it.
It happens, man.
I don't even know where to look, but we got to find a couple trim pieces, and there's still obviously a ton to do, but interior wise, I think for now we're buttoned up, like we're ready to go. Today's challenge that I want to leave you guys with is to work with what you have. We have always been a channel where just do what we can with what we have. Not everything's $1 million, not everything's the best, not everything's perfect. We manual swapped this car, and then the short shifter didn't fit, so we worked with what we had. We cut up the bracket, we put the bracket on. We didn't buy like confetti Recaros, even though I would have loved to.
And it doesn't always have to be about who has the flashiest stuff, who has like the newest things. It's make what you can out of what you have.
Precisely, and that is exactly what we did today. We spaced the transmission, we spaced the drive shaft, we made these work. I literally made this thing work out of an auto piece of plastic and just jammed it all together. Not a single thing we did today was like perfect or like store-bought.
But it works.
But it works,
Yeah.
and like you can say what you want on a video, but anybody that comes and sees this car is gonna be like, damn, you did a great
Right?
job in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, the people that see underneath the car is us.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
A lot of times I'm hanging out with people trying to work on cars, and they're always saying like, oh, you need to get this, you need to get that, we should use this, we should use that, you should order this. No, you don't have to, dude. You can make things work. Just stop being scared. You got the last video to 5,000 likes.
Yes.
They did do that.
Yes, I get my wish.
Anyways, we gotta go. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay committed. Oh, double clap.
Oh!
Oh, hit him with the dubs.
Oh! Here, let's see what it was. I don't know how to remember that.
If the stock seats that came in this car weren't living organisms, maybe we could have cleaned them up too. But they had feet and legs, and
They were walking at one point. but
they left. They're not here anymore. Have you seen them lately?
I haven't.
I didn't get rid of them.
Yeah. That guy is gonna be so mad. Guy in the comments that loves the dad. Yeah.